Welcome, folks. This is Mayor Victoria Garrity here with the latest episode of Virtual Village, and I am delighted to be joined today by the owner of Laur Sports, Lee Katz. So welcome, Mr. Katz. It's a pleasure to have you here in our Virtual Village Zoom room.
Thank you very much, Victoria. It's a pleasure. It's nice that they're doing something for the local businesses, and I am all behind you.
Great. Thank you. Well, you know I'm a big supporter of your local business because I have two young athletes in my household, so you see me at least once a season.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Very good. So, Laur Sports, you have been in Ossining for how many years, and how many different locations have you been in?
My grandfather opened up in 1929.
Wow.
Abe Katz. And his location, while he was involved and still alive, he was at the corner of Spring and Maple, right across from the post office, where a few years ago, they redid the whole facade. It's now a white building. As you're coming out of the post office parking lot, it's on the right side as you're looking up Maple.
Yes.
And that was the first location. And the store at that time was predominantly the repair of radios and broadcasting systems, where he repaired the radio tube, the old radio tubes. And later on, if you want, I'll walk around the store. I can show you the picture that was taken in the mid-30s of his store. And my father, after he came home from World War II, in 47, the store began to morph into sporting goods because that was his interest. And from there, from that location, we moved to 173 Croton Avenue, which I think now is a chiropractor's store, across the street from Quick Lube.
Okay.
That was location 2. And we were only there for a short time and moved down to the Arcadian Shopping Center in a store that was kind of where Stop and Shop is now. Stop and Shop bought or had them redo that area, and our store was right next to Barker's down there. And we were there for 21 years, and from there we moved to Main Street, and we were on Main Street for about 14 years before we moved here. So those are, I think I hit all 5 locations.
Wow. And now here, for anybody who doesn't know, is on North Highland.
Yeah, 211 North Highland, which is also Route 9. And as you're going north from the center of town, we're just past Dee Dee's Diner on the same side. And what used to be the old Art Barn.
Right, right. Now, I'll just tell you, the first of those locations that I was ever in, I'm quite sure was in Arcadian in the 1980s.
Yep, that's correct.
I did not grow up in Ossining, fun fact. I grew up in our local rival, Sleepy Hollow, and I still, in my attic, have a Sleepy Hollow High School cheerleading jacket with the horseman on the back that I ordered from your store in Arcadian in 1987 or 88.
I want you to know something. If I had known you'd grown up in Sleepy Hollow, I'd be charging you double.
I think that's discrimination, not fair.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned, being born and growing up in Sleepy Hollow. You were probably born in Phelps Hospital, if you were.
I was actually, oh, go ahead. I was actually born in New York City. We moved there when I was a toddler. My brother was born in Phelps.
I'm one of the last that can actually say that I was born in Ossining.
Oh.
The Star of Bethlehem Church is located on the grounds that used to be the old Ossining Hospital.
That's right. So you were an Ossining Hospital baby.
I was 1955, and I think it was in early 56 that Phelps opened.
Wow. Yeah. My first son was born in Phelps. And I will say, My second son, who you know, he was actually born in Ossining because he was born at home intentionally, but I'm one of those people. Uh, so, Lee, I did want to ask you about the name of your business. Why is it called what it's called?
Laur Sports. Actually, as the business all morphed, so did the name of the store. Originally, it was called Tip Top. Excuse me. It was originally called Tip Top. And when my father was in his younger days, besides being involved in the store, he also ran a day camp that drew from a bunch of counties. It was rather popular in its day, Laur Day Camp. And as he continued in business, he felt that Laur, the name, carried more weight across the river and in Putnam and in Westchester than Tip Top did. So he started doing business as Laur Sports, Tip Top Sports Equipment Company, DBA Laur Sports, and eventually dropped Tip Top. And the name actually comes from my sister and I, where he named the camp. I always wondered whether if I was born first, if it would have been Lee Laur, but my father said always ladies first.
So you're in your office there. I've actually never been, I don't think, in the space where you are right now, and I've been in your store many times. Usually I'm in your store because it's soccer season, it's baseball season, or for a while my son played lacrosse, and we might come and pick up socks or cleats or a bat or balls or some, we just grabbed a pair of shorts and socks when we were there recently. So what are the types of things that people come to Laur Sports for as an individual? And then I know you also work with a lot of teams, don't you?
Yes, we do a lot of teamwork, a lot of league work. We do a lot of sports supporters organizations where we're doing spirit wear for a lot of teams. We do a lot of printing on the on premises. We have the ability to have things screened off premises, as well as embroidery and sewn on lettering. And then we also have the ability to have stuff sublimated, which is a relatively new way of dressing uniforms and spirit wear, where all of the lettering and artwork is actually dyed into the material as opposed to added on top of the material. Mm-hmm. And that's been a lot of fun. And you know, you mentioned things like that. You know, baseball, softball has over the years become our #1 selling sports in the store. And probably you'll be surprised at this, the only thing that's ahead of right now in my store is field hockey. And field hockey has seen a tremendous boom in participation over the past 20 to 30 years. And I'm now, find it hard to believe, but I'm drawing from 4 different states that people will drive 2+ hours to see the sticks that we carry for field hockey.
Great. Who knew you were such a niche market at field hockey sticks?
Yeah, I have so much fun with it. It's you know, people say if you find something that you love to do, you'll never work a day in your life.
And you work with a lot of young athletes in Ossining too.
Yeah, that's the
deal. And often I'll come into the store and there'll be a high school student or a recent grad who's working in the store, right?
Yes, we hire predominantly local children, young adults from predominantly our high school, Ossining High School, to work here. It's funny, that's one of the notes that I had made here, that if somebody walks into the store and they look above them, they're going to see a lot of different college pennants. Those are all from children that have worked here.
Oh, great.
And we had a lot more, but in my last move, somehow I misplaced
Oh,
2 boxes of the pennants that my father had accrued over the years.
wow.
But yes, I'm very much into the high school student athletes. And notice I said student athletes, not athlete students. It's important that they be good students as well as athletes.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm glad you help people keep their priorities straight. I did want to ask you, during COVID, obviously everyone's business, everyone's lives, it's been impacted in so very many ways. I have a mask that I believe you mentioned working with booster organizations and working with Ossining School District. That with I should have. Oh, here it is. Yeah, here's my mask, my O mask. And you have a new design that's coming out too. So I'm going to get to add to my mask collection, aren't I?
Yes, I actually got them in today.
Oh, great. Okay, I'll stop by. Great. And it says "Oh Pride," right? And it's
If you want me to walk around later, I'll show that to you. It's pretty nice.
That's a great idea. In fact, I just have another question or two, and then I would really like if you would give people a little virtual tour. One of the things I was just going to ask is if there's, I mean, you've told us a lot about your business, but is there one thing that you want Ossining residents to know about Laur Sports that may surprise them?
I can tell you that, and you've had this experience. I'm sure that we pride, and I pride myself and my staff here. We're not here to be salesmen. We're here to guide you to what you're looking for, what your needs and wants are, and then to try to educate you on the different products that are offered. I've been criticized over the years by family and friends that I'm not a very good salesman. I don't push or try to pad sales. I lead you to what you're looking for, give you your options, and let you decide. I right now have a young lady in our back room actually looking for a hockey stick. And one of the things I said to her was, after you're finished trying them out and you get down to a couple, don't ask me which one to choose because I don't play with it. Time to put your big girl pants on and make a decision. And she's back there now going through a half a dozen sticks to see what she likes the feel of. And that's something I don't think that you get in the big box stores, is the personal touch that Julie and I have to offer, Julie being the young woman that works with me now, and then the girls that I have from the high school. That's, I think, very important. I'm not one to tell you that you got to buy a $400 bat to make your son a hitter. Or $500.
Quite the opposite on many occasions.
Yeah, that's me, and I'm not going to change that. And, you know, to educate our customers so that they know what they're getting, that's important.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I think that's probably the best thing that I could say.
Well, I've learned an awful lot about your business that I didn't know already. And I'm very familiar with your space, but maybe there's people who are watching today who have not been in your space. Would you like to either take your camera with you, take us on a little tour, show us a couple of things, maybe the masks you were mentioning?
Okay. Now, do I go by Ms. Mayor or Victoria?
You know me. You can call me Victoria. We're not in a formal official meeting.
All right. Now, I'm going to pick up my phone.
Yep.
But you're going to have to kind of help me. Do I turn it around?
Sure. Go ahead and turn it around. So then we'll see where you're walking.
Okay. I'm leaving the office.
Okay, I see shelves and yep, and I see
And
someone working with her
that
mask on. Well done. Hello.
that's Julie, and this is where we do all of our in-house printing.
Oh, I see that now. Very good, Julie.
And then I'm taking you out into the main store,
Uh-huh.
and I'll walk up to the front door first, and then turn around. So as you're coming into the store, off to the left is all of our baseball and softball equipment, and you can see our wall, our bats, our wall of gloves and helmets and such.
Mm-hmm.
And then and those are the batting gloves,
Mm-hmm.
and then some protective and accessories.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's directly behind the counter, and we now have the that screen up along with some hand sanitizer on the counter for the customers.
Right.
And you asked about our masks.
Yes.
Can you see the new mask?
That's perfect. Yes. Oh, Pride. I love it. I'll be by in a day or two to pick up an O mask for myself and maybe for the kids as well. Those are great. And you mentioned before we wrap it up, I want to make sure you mentioned you had a photograph from the 1930s. Can you show that to us? There we are. And that was the original location.
Yes.
On the corner of Spring and Maple, right?
I'm sorry?
That was the original location down on the corner of Spring and Maple, right?
That's correct.
It's wonderful.
And then that's the wall of field hockey. I'm not sure what you're seeing. But
no, I'm seeing exactly a wall of field hockey sticks. Your collection that is drawing people from across multiple states to come and check out the field hockey collection.
That's right. And then some volleyball, equipment, wrestling, soccer, and lacrosse. And that's really, Victoria, that's really about it.
Great. Yeah. Well, that you've covered so many of the sports that people of any age, but I think you largely have a clientele of young people because there are so many young athletes, student athletes in Ossining, and we're so fortunate to have Laur Sports right here, and all of us that care so deeply about our community, love supporting local businesses, and we're so fortunate to have you. Thank you for being third generation business owner here in Ossining and investing so much of yourselves and your family to our community.
Well, Victoria, I need to really thank you, and I don't want to get too emotional on a recording, but it's really important to me that you thought of me. Thank you.
Oh, Lee. So I just, if anybody wants to get in touch with you, we already gave the address. You're up on North Highland, over near Dee Dee's Diner, and can they find you on any social media? You're on Facebook, right?
We do have a Facebook page. It's just Laur Sports on Facebook. I do have an informational only website, which is laurleesports.com. And then if anybody needs information or has questions, they can feel free to call me at any time. Do you want me to give the phone number?
Go right ahead.
914-941-4018. And they can call and discuss anything that they want to discuss with me. I even lead people to stores that aren't me. So
because what you care most about is helping people get what it is that they need.
That's what it is. That's what it's all about.
Great. And anybody, whether you're an athlete or not, you can stop by and get one of those new O Pride masks.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you so much for joining us today. It was really, really a nice opportunity, and I learned an awful lot about your business that I wouldn't have known otherwise. I'll have to show you my sleek hollow jacket one time. I should have brought it down for the interview, but that's probably
I'd love to see it. Please bring it in.
I will. Okay, take care. It was really wonderful talking with you, Lee. Thank you so much for joining us for this latest episode of Virtual Village, and I hope we've been able to enlighten some folks on the terrific opportunity they have to support this great local business and get their sporting goods right here in Ossining.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.